Well, if you have been joining us for 3 weeks running now, we have been having a conversation around Abia gubernatorial elections 2023. Well, Umunneato, the people of Upalangwa believe should produce the next governor of Abia State. There have been lots of conversations around that. Well, to deepen that conversation and take it a notch higher, we have Dr. Eugene Moha, the member, Umunneato Upalangwa Council of Elders. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ben.
We also have another member right here, Moses Ogbonna.
Saint Moses.
Okay, Saint Moses Ogbonna, the
Saint
only
is-
living
it's
saint.
very important.
Yeah, I was about saying the only living saint at the
Yes.
ending. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, joining us on the phone is the president of Upalangwa Council of Elders, Dr. Max Ndwagwibe. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get the conversations going. Most political parties have succeeded in organizing their primaries. As members of Upalangwa Council of Elders, you all have been making a point that the next governor should come from the Umunneato axis. Now, are you happy? Are you impressed with the primaries so far? Let's start with you, Dr. Moha.
Thank you very much. I would say that we are impressed. What we did is to appeal to all the political parties to see reason and adhere to the Abia Charter of Equity. So, to answer your question, I would say that we are happy. PDP responded to our call. Just yesterday or thereabout, we were told YPP2 has elected an Umunneato man to run for the governorship.
Okay.
So we were happy. We are expecting that all others will queue in and follow the Charter of Equity.
All right, St. Moses.
Yes,
Are you impressed with the outcome of the primary so far? Are the political parties listening to your cries?
I wouldn't say I'm impressed, but at least 2 parties have heeded so far. But we expected that the major parties could have, listened to the plea, respected the Charter of Equity, and ensure that Umunneato, so that there would be less rancor, less struggle, less propagandas against each other. But we see how it goes.
Okay.
YPP have respected the Charter of Equity and has given it to a member of Umunneato, that is Chief Nana
Wonderful.
Nwafo. So far, so good.
Okay, let's bring in the president, Dr. Ndwagwibe. Are you impressed with the outcome of the primaries in Abia State?
Thank you, sir. I think I would say that I am impressed. Let me first of all acknowledge the fact, that the Abia Charter of Equity had nothing to do with political parties. The Abia Charter of Equity binds all Abians, irrespective of the political party to which they belong. Therefore, my expectation is that all political parties in Abia State would adhere to that call. Well, so far so good. At least 1, 2, or 3 political parties have endorsed candidates, from Umunneato area. It is now our business, to say, well, let's look at those candidates and let's be able to assess them and then see how to move forward with them. So I am impressed, that at least more than 2 political parties have responded, to our call. I'm happy.
All right.
Among the political parties, at least one major political party, which is the PDP, is quite reassuring that one of such major political parties responded to us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's Dr. Ndwagibe, the president of Palangwa Council of Elders. Now, will you throw your weight behind the political parties that have chosen a candidate of Umunneato origin? Dr. Ndwagibe, the question is for you. Will you throw your weight behind political parties, or will you call the candidates that have emerged and maybe profile, let's say, some kind of consensus?
Yeah, so long as they are our sons and daughters, of Umunneato, and they have secured, the endorsement of their political parties, we will call them together first, and we'll be able to assess them. And it's after that, that we'll take a decision on how to go forward, with the issue.
Okay. Dr. Omwa, are you not concerned that if more candidates emerge from the Umunneato axis, at the end of the day, we may likely see a division of votes during the elections in 2023? For instance, Nana Nwafo is of the Oxusoma axis, the PDP candidate is of Isialangwa North. So if the two of them should go into the contest, are you not worried that if some other person should emerge from the old bender, the person will end up carrying the day?
I'm not particularly worried, because whoever carries the day, like our leader, Dr. Ndwagibe, has pointed out, we are not necessarily a political party. We are just elders of the land. So, and he has also said categorically clear that we will bring these our brothers together and assess them and see which of them is the best foot forward. So I'm not worried about 2 or 3 people coming out. Definitely the political parties that has thrown them up will be behind them. And as a council of elders, we don't have that power to say your political party has thrown you up, you will run for the election. But we have to advise. Definitely we have to advise them on the best way to go.
Okay.
That is our role.
And now in situations like this, we have alignments. We have where 2 parties will come together and they say we are working together. If you assess yourself as we go, and you see that if you stand by your political party, you will not win, you can align with another that is likely to, so that you fuse together, one will accommodate the other. We expect such things will happen. You saw what happened at the National Convention of
the PDP.
When Tambuwa saw that if he goes ahead, Wike will defeat them. Wike would have defeated him and Atiku. He stepped down and joined his votes with Atiku, and Atiku won. So we expect that as we go, a person who is contesting will be able to measure himself, look at how strong his party is, look at his areas of strength and his areas of weakness. If he is not being selfish and he says, look, if I go this alone, I will lose, and my brother will lose, we will seek a way to bring them together and move forward.
All right, talking about bringing the contending personalities together. Last week, we started hearing of the PDP candidate visiting the likes of Ncheto Merekwe. Is Ukwalangwa Council of Elders in any way pivotal to that visit?
Yes, we like the visit, and he's going to make more visits. And I know that sometime last week too, some of the aspirants who even though left the party were called together, and certain things were said to them. As time goes on, we will see some developments. Let the APC primaries end today, and once that has ended and the results come up, then you will see a lot of events unfolding.
So, Dr. Mohai, from what St. Moses is saying, there will be more reconciliations amongst the contending.
Definitely, definitely. You know, earlier I did tell you that immediately after every primaries, tempers used to be very high. So as the time rolls down, those tempers will start to cool, and people will start to see reason. People will start to have new vision, and the way forward will become clearer. So I'm sure that with the way they are making this visit, even at the national level, the example you gave now, immediately Article 1, you discover that he started to visit Wike, started to visit the other people. These are political maneuverings that are necessary to make sure. So in our own case, in Abia State, we know that equity must somehow sort itself out. And we are also appealing to everybody to calm down and see reason with us. And I'm sure that in the next few days, especially after the APC convention, there will be reconciliation and peace will return to the land.
Okay, St. Moses, let's talk about the strategy Mopalangwa Council of Elders are employing towards ensuring that the next governor would come from the Umunneato axis. What strategies do you have in place to ensure?
First of all, we will put our house in order. The whole of Mopalangwa, we will make sure that all of us come together, speak with one voice, have one objective, that is winning, Mopalangwa winning the next election. Then we will move across the borders and begin to stretch out our hands of fellowship to our old Bende brothers, making them see reason that what we are doing is not a do or die affair. It is a thing that will make sure that all other little zones in Abia State will also be given opportunity to run when their time comes. And once they understand this, they will know that Kwangwa people are not, stamping themselves upon the rest of the Abia State because our son is the governor. No, we are saying, as we accommodated you people when you did 16 years, there was this spirit of brotherliness, this spirit of sharing things together. You too should accommodate us so that we will continue the brotherliness, the friendship, and the equity will continue. So that no other aspect of our part of Abia will feel marginalized and cheated.
Okay.
That's the only thing. But the strategy we are going to adopt will be two-pronged.
All right.
One, getting our house in order. Then the next,
Okay.
going across borders.
Dr. Ndwagibe, talking about getting the house in order, it appears the efforts of Mopalangwa Council of Elders is not yielding results because as we speak, more sons and daughters of Mopalangwa appear to be on different pages. I can go on and list names, but for the want of time, what do you think? Can we look at concrete steps? How can you bring people with divergent views from different political platforms together?
Thank you very much. This is politics. We as elders are not directly involved in partisan politics per se. Nevertheless, it is our duty to create harmony, to create brotherliness, to create understanding amongst the various political contestants. Now, somebody, St. Moses had mentioned that there are sometimes, when parties, come into alliance. Now, as far as we are concerned, we want to give the candidates a little time for them to reflect on what has happened, a little time for reflection, to think about what has happened. Somebody was saying to me the other day, what is the sense of getting angry and going into a mushroom party knowing fully well that you will not succeed? Now, what will push that person to go into a mushroom party is anger, annoyance. So allow people to calm down. They have just finished the primaries. In fact, the primaries are not ended. It will end by tomorrow or thereabout, with the MPs. Allow people to get some rest. Allow people to look at, to totalize, their spendings, their future, the future of their children, the future of themselves, within the state. Because it is also important, that in your community, you will not do something politically that will make you a persona non grata in your own community. So we hope, that in Kalangwa land, we will try to achieve that amount. Then we will also move across the frontier to meet our colleagues and friends and brothers, from the other zone, and make them realize that what we are doing is also the way of trying to protect their own when their own time comes. Then we have to tell us, we did this for you, just like we are saying to them today. Right from 1999, the Palangwa people have supported the old band until 2014. So it is now your turn, to support the Ngwa people till 2023. That is it. We will also do that, across the board. We know that essentially this is a political party issue. But as elders, we will support whatever the party is doing. We will support whatever the party is doing to ensure that the governorship comes to Umunneato and that we succeed actually in winning the election.
Okay, Dr. Nwaha, Dr. Ndwagibe identified anger as one of the reasons why some Opalangwa sons are leaving or are not happy with where things are playing out. Now, apart from anger, are you not concerned that we may have people who, maybe out of some reasons best known to them, are playing the spoiler's role?
Definitely. There may be some people who one may feel shortchanged in what happened during their primaries. But like Dr. Ndwagibe has said, tempers rise during every primary. And after the primaries, people are usually given time to cool down and reflect on what happened. Be that as it may, I must point out here that no one particular side of Abia can win this governorship alone. No one particular individual can even dictate who will become the next governor. So it's a collective effort. The people of Old Bend need the people of Abazo, Old Abazo, to win. We in Abazo, the Okalangwa people, also need the people of Old Bend to win. No one section can just come up and win the governor. So that is why there is need for continuous dialogue. There's need for continuous interaction among all the various groups so that people can see the need for equity. Because if you want equity, you must also do equity. And like they say, those who must come to equity must come with clean hands. So I'm of the view that the political gerrymandering and the grouping that is going on now will eventually crystal out and people will find their feet. There will be alignments, there are realignments.
Okay, St. Moses, in the event of identifying spoilers, quote unquote, we've seen them in the past in politics, those who know that they don't stand a chance, like you said earlier. But they have this mentality, if I don't get it, no other person should get it from my part of the country or my part of the state in this case. In the event that the Council of Elders was able to identify such persons, do you have any form of punitive measures for such persons?
No, it's that person's right. It's democracy. But the one thing I would like to know is that our concern is only on governorship. We don't care who becomes the senator, who becomes the House of Reps member or House of State House of Assembly. All those people who are showing anger now, many of them, are just on either Senate, House of Reps. I have not heard any of them saying, Okwangwa man will not be governor. So we still have that unity of purpose at that top. Except we begin to hear, you will not be governor. Then we will look at your own position. what you are pursuing. And they look at you again and say, okay, you also will not be. Pursue us, let's pursue you. And I think when the generality of Ukwangwa people are after you, I don't think that person will be.
Well, I've been trying to avoid mentioning names, but since we've gotten to this point, we can't avoid doing that.
Yes.
Ginger Onsibe, it's obvious that he's not on the same page with Professor Ikonne. He believes, if you go through his Facebook page, he made a post that Professor Ikonne should be thinking of retirement, not contesting the governorship election.
Yes, that is Ginger's opinion on Professor
But
Ikonne.
they are both sons of Opalangwa.
Good. The Okwangwa people will also have the opinion on him. All right. We will call him and say, my friend, don't speak out of turn. Pursue what you want. Our own case is not on Ginger. Ginger's own case should not be on Professor Ikonne. Professor Ikonne has an overriding interest of the people carrying him. A lot of the Okwangwa people, both Abia South and Abia Central, carrying Professor Ikonne. The interest of Ginger is just House of Reps of Isialangwa North and the Isialangwa South Federal Constituency. So if he wants to, because he's contesting and he has a misunderstanding between him and Ikonne, he will now say the whole of Okwalangwa people should be denied of the governorship we are pursuing. I think he will be making a mistake. He will be carrying a very heavy load upon himself.
Okay, Dr. Ndwagwibe, can one say all Opalangwa people are on the same page as to who are on the same page as to the candidates that have emerged so far? We've talked about the YPP candidate, Nana Nwafo, and of course on the PDP candidates, Professor Ikonne.
Well, I don't think the matter has come to a point where an opinion, of the Ukwalangwa, is expressed. No, I don't think we've come to that point yet. Remember that the candidates are just emerging in their various political parties. Some of these political parties, are not even solidly on ground. So they will have to put the structures of this party on ground. Now, you see, I have done that myself. I've had that experience personally. In 1999, when my own brothers too denied me the ticket of the APP at the time, and I got angry and left them and joined AD. Now, AD at that time was a party that was not on ground here. The election was so close even at that time. So it was impossible for me to set up structures on the ground in every ward, in every polling booth. It is an enormous task, that some of these people who are rushing into these parties may not be aware of. But they will soon get to know that it is not as easy as, it is being sold, to them. That aside, I still believe, like my other colleagues have said, I still believe that when tempers cool down, we will find a way to reconcile ourselves. We are not enemies to each other. This is just politics. Some people are trying to place their personal ambition over and above the collective aspiration of the community. That is wrong. If you tell me upfront, I have a friend who says he wants to be senator. Fine. When you become a senator, it is personal to you and your family. You hardly can do much compared to what a governor can do. So these are some of the issues that, some people need to understand.
All right.
I can say that we will be able to find a solution to all these problems. They are just happening. Allow us, the time to, and I say, then so let us see what happens, in the next few days, in the next few weeks, and then we'll be able to know how to counter it. It is not too late, but it's also not too early.
All right. If you just joined us, you're listening to Umunneato R on Magic 102.9 FM. We're having a conversation around the governorship election in Abia State 2023. We have some elders from the Upalangwa Council of Elders who have been making a point as to why the next governor should come from the Umunneato axis of Abia. We have Dr. Eugene Waha. We also have Saint Moses Ogbonna, the only living saint, and Dr. Max Ndwagwibe joining us via phone. He's the president of Upalangwa Council of Elders. Well, the program is interactive. If you have been listening and you have any question, feel free to call any of our numbers: 0809 555 1029, 0809 666 1029, or 0907 677 1029. We're also live on Facebook, facebook.com/magic 102.9 FM. You can go to our Facebook page and, of course, leave your question or leave your reaction. Okay, now let's continue with the conversation while we wait for some calls. Dr. Moha, in the event that after the party primaries and you reach out to Upalangwa sons who are contesting for the #1 seat in Abia State on different platforms, and they refuse to step down for a particular person, what card will the council, bring to the table?
Yeah, I got your point. We may go for alignments with those people who refuse to step down, because I know that stepping down is easier before the primaries. Maybe the primaries are conducted, you pick the ticket of a party. It is not always easy there at that point to step down, because you are now carrying on your shoulder the responsibility of representing your party. So my take on that is that we will still be talking to them. Like Dr. Mas said, what the primaries have just happened. In the next few days, especially after the conclusion of the APC presidential primaries, and in the subsequent days, we'll still be holding meetings with them. There will be visits, and we'll still be realigning forces. I'm very sure that at the end of the election is just maybe a year, close to 1 year from now. Before that, between this time, people will must have come to terms with each other and one another to see where they are going. But let me say specifically on the ginger issue you mentioned, I think people are reaching out to him, and even Ginger himself is also reaching out to us to see that we can broker a type of peace in the community. The elders are interested in peace in the area, because governorship without peace, you can achieve very little. Look at the type of weight Soludo came in with in Anambra State, and everybody, the hopes were high on Soludo. But if there's no peace in Anambra State, Soludo can achieve little. So even in Abia State, the elders are worried and are particularly interested in bringing everybody together. It is when the state is peaceful that you can talk of development.
Okay,
Let me add,
yes, please go ahead.
What you said earlier on about Ginger Onwusibe. Ginger expressing the opinion that Professor Kotne should be retiring instead of being, it's a personal opinion to him. It is not an opinion held generally in Abia State. It is personal to him. But then, Ginger is not contesting for the governorship. He's contesting for the federal house. It is possible that if he feels, that he controls the population of Isiala Wanotansan 100%, if he had that feeling, it is possible that, they will vote for him wherever he is for his federal elections. But when it comes to the governorship, I don't think that Ginger has the capacity to control 100% the voters of Isiala Wanotan South. So let us not overflow this importance, his importance. I'm not saying he's not important, but I'm saying that, we also need to value, the postulations, of people. If we say it's not meant to retire, and other people say, no, he is our best bet. Those who say Umunneato is their best bet are more in number than Ginger, who is a lone voice. But I am not saying also that there are not people who may not like the content. But listen, there is nobody in politics. There's nobody you will bring out and there will be no criticism against that person. There is no such person. Even Jesus Christ himself, his own brothers criticized him. So whosoever you brought, if you had brought out Ginger, for example, people would have also criticized him. They have many more reasons, to criticize him. So let us be careful about overblowing the importance of, what is going on. I know very well that this is politics. I know that, within the next 1, 2, 3 months, people will begin to realize the roles they are playing, and they'll be able to utilize it and see whether it is beneficial to them, whether it is beneficial to the community, whether it is beneficial to the entire Upalangwa, whether it is beneficial to the entire Abia State.
Okay.
We will have time, to do that. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Ndwabibe. The aim of that question was not to ascribe a sense of importance to a particular individual. I'm only concerned that a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. You can't have someone with that amount of influence saying something, and at the same time you have another people saying something. At the end of the day, it may be working in favor of the opposition or the other bloc that is also saying, hey, it is our turn. Just like Upalangwa Council of Elders are making a case saying, no, it is the turn of Umunneato. That's the essence of the question.
Let me say this. When you are campaigning, you are going to say what you are going to do for people, what you are going to do for the states. Now, you're not going to be saying, this candidate I'm working, I am contesting with, is a bad person, he is too old, he is too tall, he is too short, That is not how to play politics. What you are going to concentrate on is to tell people what you are capable of doing for them. Now, if a particular person is running for the Senate position, for example, he's going to say, I'm going to do this, within the possibilities of a senator's capability. But if you're campaigning for a governor, he's also going to say, I'm going to do this to a wider range of people. So when the time comes, every shoe would find its size.
All right. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's take some calls now. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. All right, you may want to call us back. 0809 555 1029, 0809 666 1029, or 0907 677 1029. You can actually make use of any of those numbers to get in touch with us. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Yes, you're welcome. Your name and location.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Daniel, thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
I'm in support of what my elders are saying. But all I'm saying is that when the governor from Umunneato emerges, let's remember the people from Umunneato. We, the Oba people, we are marginalized. We've not produced the governor before. We've not produced deputy governor. Even the state house of assembly speaker. We've not produced a speaker before. So, Oba people are marginalized. When the Uga man wins now, they will be answering Ohangwa. They will no longer calling Oba again. So they should carry us along. This is what I want.
All right. Thank you, Daniel.
I think I need to answer him. You see, the Upalangwa people, the Ngwa people, at the time Abaribe was contesting for governorship. It was Adolphus one, who was the first Senate president of Okwalangwa, from Okwalangwa extraction, having come from Ngwa. No Ngwa man opposed him. Every Ngwa people I remember that had the Elu gathered the Ngwa people. We went to Abuja, stayed for a number of days to ensure that Adolphus Wamba became the Senate president. That was there. We never said they are minority. We came in group, persuaded the other of his brother, who would have been a minority leader.
Not one.
Not Bob one. The other person from Imo.
Okay, yeah, Imo. Yes.
Who would have been a minority, not even a minority whip, if at all he had the position. But we said, step down. Even though he was of another party, let's give it to Nwabara. I think that everybody should understand that this thing will rotate turn by turn. When it rolls back to Okwalangwa again, Abia State, I don't think any woman will come up to say, give us governorship, when Okwa people have not. We will not be in support. Those of us who are realists, who believe that what ought to be done must be done, we cannot agree. So my own is that, my take is that Okwa people should exercise patience. If we do not adopt this zoning system and rotational system we are doing, I'm afraid Okwaman may not be governed. Because the people who come from a majority zone will not allow these minority people to become what we are aspiring. Umunneato, as small as we are, may not be governed. The same thing with Okwa people. The same thing with Umunneato people. Except we say, for equity to reign, this thing has to trek along this zonal.
Mr. Benes, let me also add. I think the more point he was making about remembering Okwa people should also be seen from a wider dimension. The moment somebody becomes a governor of a state, you are no longer, representing a parochial interest. So his point is well taken, and as one of the elders, I've always advised that anybody who is the governor should look at all parts of the state and ensure that the dividends of democracy, as we put it, gets to every corner. You may not tell people to wait until they become governor before they can develop their area. So the guy who asked the question, I agree with him. Whoever emerges as the governor now should also take care of people, no matter their section.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines.
Yeah, let me add also.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me add that in the past, we didn't have anything comparative to what we have today, the Okwalangwa Council of Elders. Now, we championed the issue of this rotation coming to Okwalangwa area. We championed it. We started it. We initiated it. We ran around in Abia State, campaigning for it, and it is almost like happening. Now, when it happens finally, we will also be in a position to advise whosoever is the governor from Okwalangwa, particularly from Umunneato. We'll also be in a position to advise that person. It is not a tribal winner take all. It's not going to happen that way. If you become a governor, you're a governor of the entire state. And like one of us, Dr. Owa earlier said, no zone alone can produce a governor in Abia State. Which means that whichever zone that gets the majority must negotiate with the other zone. And in negotiating with the other zone, you make concessions. And these are natural things in politics. So the Council of Elders will continue to advise the government that comes in Umunneato area, that comes to the governor that from Umunneato area. We will continue to advise that person in the best interest of Abia State, in the best interest of peace and harmony in Abia State. It is not going to be a tribal winner take all.
All right, thank you, President. Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome, go ahead.
Contribution about what they are saying. The issue is that we want an younger man from Umunneato to be the governor. This is not about gender issue or something like that. But what I'm trying to advise the elders here is that they have started campaigning for equality. We here have started campaigning for equality. But the truth about it, as soon as equality attain the truth, let them not allow the cabal to cage him the way they have been doing. Okay, they have intention, a very good intention for others, but most of the cabal, considering if you want to go to politics for something for your people or others, they will not allow you. But the campaign has come now. They have started again. And what I'm trying to say in essence is that when an younger man completes these 8 years now, we can be able to transfer the power right or not. But for now, it's the turn of an younger man to complete the 8 years which the old men have completed their own 16 years. And then again, that my brother, what I'm from Ochioma, that have respected the YPP, I'm just pleading to him because you know the handwritten on the wall. Despite his both philanthropies and then support, and he don't have to win an election. He would have allowed Professor Ikone to do this term. Later, he can be able to do his own because he's still young. But going to YPP and after all the second night, he will fight. We don't like those things. And again, what I'm trying to say, let them start from now, house to house, community to community, to bring all the younger people together so we can be able to win this election. I know that this election will be easier because people are agreed. I know people who are agreed. When they are there, they have done nothing to one way or to other state. So, because the people have come to their side and they are thinking about what is happening.
All right, thank you. Do you want to react to?
Yes, what my reaction is that our leader, Dr. Max and St. Moses, have made this point. You see, we are not unmindful of the issue of cabals, what they call cabal, depending on the definition. So the point I'm making is that the elders are not necessarily called politicians or party people. So we will be in a position to advise whoever that emerges as the government. And the type of advice we are going to give will be one that will be based on reason and one that will not be sectional. Because we are on tape, like in Magic FM here. I know all these programs are on tape. You can play it back. I say when you people were you said this and you said that. Now the time has come. Why are you not doing this? We will be in a position to defend whatever we have said now.
Okay. More calls. Please go ahead.
Yeah, let me. I want the two. I said before that in the past they didn't have something like the Council of Elders. The governorship was determined by one or two families or one or two persons. But you will see a situation where that is no longer going to happen in Abia State. We are moving away from that system. Now, so people are doubting it, but we want to assure them that, it is no longer going to be the same thing over and over again. The cabal you are talking about, will not have the means to overcome all of us in Abia State.
The Council of Elders is going to expand beyond Okalangwa to incorporate reasonable people across the board. And we'll be able to direct, we'll be able to advise the governor from time to time. And if he does something that is wrong, we will be quite open, in telling him that what he is doing is wrong. We will say it openly. Because one, we are not looking for appointments, from them. I'm not going to be a commissioner tomorrow in Abia State. Forget that. And I don't think there's anything, any appointment, that is appealing to me in Abia State. I don't need it. And many of us are like that, in the Elders Council. So we'll be able to tell the truth whenever it is required,
All right. That's the President of Okalangwa Council of Elders, Dr. Max Ndwawibe. We also have Dr. Eugene Waha and Saint Moses Obona, the only living saint. It's Umunneato R on Magic 102.9 FM. Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome. Your name and location. Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome. Your name and location. All right. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead. We would appreciate if you can speak up.
I simply want to thank the Council of Elders there, whom I know very well. I know St. Moses and I know Dr. Warner very well. And I also know Max Ndwawibe. I knew when he was contesting. So what they are doing now is a good job. But I want to let them know that this is not generally our personal effort. It is, so some people write on their vehicle, blessings come from above. This thing must have been designed from above so that whatever we are doing is just to add our own effort, definitely. I know somebody from Umunneato is coming up now. Really, we may not have dreamt it so much before now. Now that it's coming, I want to ask them to continue what they're doing. If it is from a book, nobody can stop it. And the young man, whether he's old or young, Joe Biden is still ruling America. I don't know where they are looking at. Well, the Indians should have seen the question of featuring somebody who will work well. If God is there behind him, he will do well.
Thank you. You've made your point.
You see, I think Holy Spirit has been started to me. You see, this thing is of God. It is God that is deciding it. You see, when you talk about Kaba, these people have designed how they will perpetuate themselves in power. They set up the party structures. They shared it within themselves. Nobody, this prof, wasn't there when they shared the party structures. And they were determined and were assured by themselves that it is them or nobody else. But my Bible told me, trust in the Lord with all your might. It says, never you lean upon your own understanding. Have you heard the way it happened? That a lawmaker made a law that was against himself. That was against all the structures they built. Against all the executives they installed. To vote for them. To return as many times as they want to remain in power. But when the time comes, God says no. Blinded them. They never interpreted the law they wrote. Until God says, it is no longer going to be what you planned. And 3-man delegate was used. They are now angry because it wasn't them that controlled the 3-man delegate. The ones they controlled to perpetuate themselves into power never worked. That is the hand of God. God has not finished. God will install the governor of Abia that will control Abia and make sure Abia moves forward as God's own state.
All right.
Let me also add, that talking about Prof. Goodman, I said the last time, that he was one of us, when I was teaching in the university, he was a very young assistant lecturer that joined us at that time, And he has matured in the university. He has risen to the position of a professor, and not only that, the vice chancellor. So he's not somebody anybody can push around, really. It's not, it shouldn't be, and it's not. For those who know him, he's not the kind of person anybody can push around. So this idea of taking him over, deciding for him, and all that, is neither here nor there.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Benedict, thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
This type of Umunneato or the weather forest. And if there's something that I want to know, if they are for real or from the money they will lobby during the election, you can see what happened during the PDP primary election in Abuja. What Bangladesh did. Today now they are coming as the elders. They will advise the governors and the governors. And I don't since is in the speech, I don't think he have listened to any elder or to take any advice from. Please, what they are doing now is a good job. If they can do it and they purposeful, they will select for listening to them. That's the most important thing.
Dr. Moha.
Yes, if you know us, this is not a television studio, it's a radio studio. If you know us and know our background, you will know that we are not that kind of people who are looking for job or who are looking for appointment. We have assumed this role as elders, and when the governors emerge, then we will know what we are not saying that we don't hear the cries of the people, or that everything is good, everything is working so fine. We know where the shoe is pinching. But personally, I've retired from public service many years ago. I'm not some of the ones that say this must be like it. But we are going to maintain an open mind, like our leader, Dr. Ondagiba, said. We are going to maintain an open mind. We haven't been here before. And right now that we are here, we are going to make sure that we make a difference.
Okay, I think his concern is this.
Yes.
Will the next governor listen to advice from Opalangwa?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't he listen?
What's the guarantee?
Yes, the
Because
guarantee
if the governor
is there.
emerges tomorrow and say, hey, you're not in the constitution, I only listen to the State House of Assembly, I have no business with you.
Yes, in fact, that is what people assume. It depends on the type of advice you are giving the governor. And it also depends on your motive. You know, why governors don't listen to many people is that people come to them, worry them for contracts, worry them for appointments.
With their cap on.
And so you can't listen to such people. But I want to assure Abians that what we are doing is not just for self-interest. We are doing this in the overall interest of Abia people. We are concerned about our level of development. We are concerned about peace and security in the land. So we cannot just come out and throw ourselves into the ring, and at the end of the day, we don't achieve anything. I don't think so.
Okay, we're practically out of time. We have less than 3 minutes to spend. At this point, let's start having our parting words. Let's start with you, Dr. Max Ndwagwibe, the President of Opalangwa Council of Elders. What would your parting words for today be?
Our parting word today is to take it on from where Dr. Owoha stopped. Some of us, many of us in fact, have grown beyond asking for contracts from any governor. Asking for whatever. For example, the other day, at Flow FM, somebody called in and said, why don't you people advise the governor to pay salaries? And I openly called on the governor to do something about salaries and pensions, But I also know that about 17 states in this country are having the same problems. So it is not a problem peculiar to Abia State. Therefore, the governor must have chosen his priorities, knowing that, the issue of salaries and pensions, are more or less global. and it is not something he can solve, in one blow. So he decided to choose, other priorities, and start from the, for example, doing something about getting Abia, coming back to life and all that. So, I'm so sorry. The point I'm trying to make is this. We have grown to a point where we can look at anybody in the face, and tell that person what to feel about them.
Okay.
If we give an advice, to the governor, and it's not an advice that is favors only Umunneato people, it's an advice that favors the entire Abia State.
All right.
And once that happens, and the governor refuses to take that advice, we will come out publicly to mess the governor up.
Okay, we'll be leaving it at that, St. Moses.
Yes, I'm happy now
in 30
that
seconds.
the governor we are putting in, that is coming in, is not a governor that is selected by a few people, the so-called cabals. It's a governor that will know that it is the people that is governing, that made him governor. Therefore, he will resort to them and make sure that what they want is what he will do.
All right, and Dr. Moha in 20 seconds.
Yes, I will call on all Abians not to lose hope. Be hopeful, because things are really going to change, and I'm assuring everybody that it wouldn't be business as usual any longer. Well, the Abia State will take a new turn.
All right, thank you, Dr. Eugene Moha, a member of Umunneato Palangwa Council of Elders. Also, thank you, Dr. Marson Dwaguibe, the President of Palangwa Council of Elders. I'm not forgetting Saint Moses Ogbodna, the only living saint, a member of Palangwa Council of Elders. Thank you all for coming around.
Thank you.
All right, it's a wrap on this week's edition of the program. My name is Ben Matu.